The restaurant was quiet, too quiet. Not because it was empty, but because everyone at the table had stopped talking. They were watching him, and watching her. "Just order what I told you," Daniel said, his voice low, controlled. He didn't even look at Amina. He didn't need to. Amina forced a small smile and nodded, her fingers tightening around the menu. "I'll have what he suggested," she said softly. The waiter hesitated, glancing between them, then wrote it down. Conversation slowly resumed around the table. Laughter returned, but Amina felt none of it, because moments like this weren't new, they were routine, and what scared her most was how normal it had started to feel. There was a time when Amina made her own choices without thinking twice. She used to laugh loudly, speak freely, and wear whatever made her feel alive. Her friends used to joke that you could hear her before you saw her. She had presence, energy, life. Then she met Daniel. Daniel was everything people admired: successful, disciplined, focused, the kind of man who walked into a room and didn't need to raise his voice to be noticed. People respected him, listened to him, trusted him. And when he chose Amina, everyone said the same thing: "You're so lucky." At first, it felt true. Daniel paid attention to details. He remembered things. He noticed things. "You deserve better than this," he told her once, looking at her job. "You're too smart to stay there." It all sounded like encouragement, like support. When he suggested a different outfit before an event, it didn't feel controlling. "That color doesn't suit you, try something more elegant." And when he insisted on handling the bills, it felt like security. "You shouldn't stress about money, I've got it." So Amina adjusted, a little at first, then a little more, and each adjustment felt small enough to ignore, until they weren't. Over time, Daniel stopped suggesting, he started deciding. What she wore, where they went, who they spent time with, even how she spoke. Sometimes he would correct her mid-sentence. "No, that's not what she meant," he'd say, smiling at others, as if translating her thoughts. People laughed. They always laughed, because from the outside it looked like leadership, a strong man guiding his partner. But inside that relationship, Amina felt herself shrinking. Her opinions became shorter, her laughter quieter, her choices fewer. Until one day she noticed something strange. She hesitated before answering a simple question: "What do you want to eat?" It should have been easy, but her mind searched for the right answer, the answer Daniel would approve of. And when she realized that, something in her shifted, but not enough. Because Daniel didn't control everything at once, he was patient, strategic. He removed pieces slowly. Her friends were next. "They don't understand your growth," he told her. "They're still in the same place. They don't want to see you succeed." At first, she defended them, but every time she made plans, there was a comment, a look, a subtle tension that made her feel guilty, until eventually it felt easier not to go. Her phone got quieter, group chats went silent, invitations stopped coming, and when she noticed, Daniel was there. "They never really were there for you. I am." And she believed him. Months passed, and Amina's world became smaller, more controlled, more predictable. And then came the first real crack. It was small, so small she almost ignored it. She had been invited to speak at a small event through an old colleague, nothing major, but it meant something to her. She mentioned it casually over dinner. Daniel didn't respond immediately, he just continued eating. Then he put his fork down. "I don't think that's a good idea." Amina blinked. "Why?" "It's not the right environment for you. It doesn't align with where you're going." She felt that familiar pressure in her chest, the one that usually made her back down. But this time she didn't back down. "I want to do it," she said carefully. Daniel leaned back. His expression didn't change, but the air did. "You're not thinking clearly." And just like that, the decision was made.
She didn't go, and that night she lay awake longer than usual, staring at the ceiling, feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time: regret. That was the first time she questioned him, the first time she questioned herself. But still she stayed, because leaving isn't something people do all at once. It happens in pieces, until one moment finally outweighs all the others. And for Amina, that moment came unexpectedly. It started with an email, a job opportunity, better pay, better environment, a chance to step into something new, something that felt like her. She stared at the screen for a long time. Her first instinct was to tell Daniel, to ask him what he thought, but something stopped her. "What do you think?" She hadn't asked herself that in a long time, so she applied without telling him. The interview came and went, and for the first time in months, she felt like herself again. She spoke freely, confidently, without interruption, without correction, and when it was over, she realized how much she had missed that version of herself. Days later, the offer came. She got the job. Amina stared at the message, her heart racing. This should have been a moment of celebration, but instead fear crept in, because she already knew what was coming. That night she told him, "I got the job." Daniel didn't react the way she expected. No smile, no pride, just silence. "Why didn't you tell me you applied?" he asked, his voice calm. Amina swallowed. "I wanted to see if I could do it on my own." The words felt foreign in her mouth. Daniel's eyes hardened slightly. "You don't make decisions like that alone." The room felt smaller. "That's not how this works." Amina felt it again, that pressure, that pull to apologize, to shrink, to fix things. But something had changed. "I don't need you to make decisions for me," she said. The words surprised even her. Daniel leaned forward. "You're being emotional." That word, he had used it before, many times, and it had always worked. It had always made her doubt herself, second-guess herself, but not this time, because this time she recognized it as control. "I'm taking the job," she said. That night, Amina didn't sleep, not because she was afraid, but because she was thinking about everything: who she had been, who she had become, and who she still wanted to be. The next morning, she packed a bag with just what she needed: clothes, documents, a few personal items, the essentials. Daniel watched from the doorway. "You're overreacting," he said. Amina zipped the bag slowly. "Maybe. You'll regret this." She paused and then looked at him, really looked at him, for what felt like the first time. "Maybe," she repeated, "but at least it'll be my regret." She walked toward the door, each step heavier than the last, but also lighter, because for once she wasn't waiting for permission, she wasn't asking for approval, she wasn't adjusting herself to fit someone else's expectations. She was choosing, and that choice changed everything. Daniel didn't follow her, he didn't stop her, because he couldn't. Amina stepped outside. The air felt different, not because the world had changed, but because she had. And as she walked away, she realized something. Daniel had controlled every decision she made, every step, every choice, every version of her life, until the day she made one he couldn't control, and that one decision gave her everything back.